Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sabhagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Chaitanya Om Jnanatirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurvavishta Supurakam Guru Ganaya Rashisa Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipuram Shri Rupa Pantangam Govindavidam Ujjalam Varatanam Bhaktyanvitam Sundaram Vande Vishwa Gurun Divya Bhagavat Premanohi Bijapadam Devam Divyatanum Chitrandravadanam Bhavarka Chilanchitam Sandranandapuram Sareka Varanam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Vandetam Shubhadam Mareka Sharanam Yashishwaram Sridharam Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Gaudiya Gurvan Vaye Vato Vanamriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Bhadatimi Yelogaragathan Dritya Jivaniman Krishna Prema Siddhabdi Gahana Sukham Pradat Prabhum Tam Vijay Namo Gauri Kishoraya Bhaktavaduta Murtaye Gaurangri Padmavringaya Radhavavamashevine Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radharasa Sudhakti Gaura Brahmashrita Shashaya Vaishnava Vanya Vigraham Jagannatha Prabhum Vande Primabdim Brita Vaishnavam Vancha Bhagavaturvyascha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Namo Mahamadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurakakshe Namaha Jayam Suratopam Gaur Mama Mandagatirgati Vatsarvasvapadam Mojao Radha Madanamohanam Divya Vrindaranya Kalpa Junada Srimad Ratnagara Singha Sanasko Shri Gandharva Srila Govinda Devo Krishtali Visevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Saranghi Vamshi Bhakta Kathastitaha Karshanam Venu Sarai Gopi Gopinatha Shriye Stula Vindaya Tulasi Devaya Priyaya Kisavasya Krishna Bhakti Devi Visajyataro Namaha Atarakam Mantra Guru Bhagavataratan Vyasan Jagaturun Natvat Tato Jayam Udiyarayet Jaya Savarkarshi Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundara Pada Padmanam Jayastu Jaya Savarkarshi Shri Guru Gaurachandra Giriraju Pada Padmanam Jayastu Sakala Vaishnavapade Mora Namaskara Vitekiti Chaparada Narugamara Vaichin Vaiden Prabhu Jatu Bhaktajan Pandana Koriham Savara-charanam Namao Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Swami Shri Bhaktivedanta Prabhupadaya Te Namaha Urvagyam Shri Dikra Satyavesha Swarupine Hare Krishna Mantrena Paschatya Prachakarane Visvacharya Bhavaryaya Divyakarunyamuktaye Subhagatamadhurya Gita-jnana Pradayine Gaura Sri Rupa Siddhanta Saraswati Nishevine Radha Krishna Padamboja Vaya Gurave Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Vandana Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay.
We got it in there, Maharaj.
Huh?
We got it in there. We brought it forward a little bit. Right? We got it in there and we placed it. You placed it. We both wanted it.
Okay, so maybe let's do 56. Jai Shri Shri Guru Ashtaka Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Jai.
Jai.
Sansara Davan Analida Moka Pranaya Karuna Gena Genatam Sansara Davan Analida Moka Pranaya Karuna Gena Genatam Praptasya Kalyana Gunana Vasya Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Chubhava Mahamahotsava Ki Jai. Jai Jai. Okay. I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who is the ocean of auspicious qualities. just to deliver all planes of life that are suffering in the forced fire of the material world. He, as the rain cloud of mercy, melts to shower down the waters of compassion.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, whose heart is maddened in nectarian love for Srimad Mahaprabhu, by the grand congregational chanting of the holy name. Dancing, singing, and playing the khol and kartals, etc., his body thrills with joy, trembles, and waves of tears flow from his eyes.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who personally engages in many types of worshipful services, such as dressing the deity and cleansing the Lord's holy temple, and similarly engages the devotees in his retinue.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who fully satisfies the devotees of Sri Krishna with 4 types of nectarine prasadam foodstuffs that are chewed, sucked, licked, and drunk. That is, he brings about the dispellation of mundanity and the awakening of joy of love that develops from respecting prasadam. And he is, thereby himself, satisfied. This is like, it gives emphasis on the taking of prasadam, that there are varieties of prasadam, which I've like always tried to figure out exactly which is which, but I haven't been very successful. Sucked, licked, and drunk. Chewed. Okay, we know the chewed ones. Sucked, licked, and drunk.
I don't know about the licked one.
Yeah.
Ice cream, maybe?
Yum, yum, yum. I can't think of it.
Those are all the 4 ways of eating, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so we get this mercy of prasadam that comes to us amazingly, that gives us not only fulfillment in terms of satisfying our external hunger, it also gives us fulfillment by cracking through our hardened hearts to begin to awaken our real inner self. Prashadam has that kind of potency, and that's why it's really nice and really auspicious if we can concentrate on taking prashadam, meditate on the mercy that's coming to us, and kind of relish in that kind of consciousness, and a thankful consciousness, and by taking in that way, thanking the kindness from above that's helping us with Bhagavat Prashadam, the potency of the Prashadam is increased. It's that's because everything in the spiritual world is reciprocal. You try to give some love and respect to Krishna, and Krishna overflows with his reciprocation. And it just goes, it's like a constant back and forth that we're engaged in, working at, towards the stage of being fully lost in, in our service and in this idea of, thanking Krishna for everything that comes. So it's such a, happy and in one way easy process that all we have to do is just keep up this chanting, keep up this thanking, and Krishna will always help us. The obstacles that are before us are, appear large because we're conditioned in the material world, but actually in relation to Krishna, they're not that big of a deal. So if we keep trying to go in the right direction, Krishna will help us, and Krishna will grow. So Krishna doesn't, he doesn't care if we make mistakes. What he cares about is that we're trying to give our love, back to him. So that kind of reciprocation comes from Krishna. So we can't get too caught up in, the fact that we're not perfect in our service. But, rather we can be thankful that Krishna is so kind that he's allowing us to proceed, even though, there are so many faults in our endeavors and our practices. So this is like the wonderful deep understanding of Krishna consciousness, that Krishna will always be there with us. He'll always be there to help us. He's our best friend, and we just can't perceive that very well right now. But as we work towards perceiving that, Krishna will more and more reveal himself to us. And we've all had that experience to one degree or another, and which is why after certain deep experiences, we realize that Krishna consciousness is our original state of being. And there's really, the only alternative there is to Krishna consciousness is the alternative of illusion. And, by progressing in Krishna consciousness, that illusion gradually becomes less and less tasteful. And we, gradually are able to, live in a state where we're depending on Krishna, and Krishna helps us along the way. So we have that kind of avenue open to us that our beloved gurus have given us. Okay. So I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, whose heart is insatiably desirous of tasting the infinite holy names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Radha Madhava that are full of the sweetness of love divine.
Worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who is extremely dear to the Supreme Divine Couple, who sport in the groves of Vraja, because he is greatly expert in those appropriate engagements that are performed by the Sakis in order to serve the amorous pastimes of the Divine Couple.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who is the simultaneously inconceivable, distinct, and non-manifest embodiment of the Supreme Godhead. All the scriptures sing the glory of his being, the direct, non-different of the Supreme Lord Sri Hari. And pure sense also concede this yet. He is the most beloved of the Lord.
Yes, he is the most beloved.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, ever singing stories and meditating upon him at the three functions of the day. By his grace alone, one gains the grace of the Lord, and if he is displeased, he has no shelter anything.
So here's a directive given to us by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that there are three junctions of the day: sunrise, noon, and sunset. And if we can utilize our experience of Krishna consciousness to pause at those times and offer our respects to our beloved masters who have given us this glimpse of Krishna consciousness. We have that, it's an open opportunity that's given to us by these the great souls who have come before us, and we just have to work on remembering to do that. And like I said, the more we work on it, the more Krishna will help us. We just have to make it clear that we're trying to go in the right direction, and Krishna will help us. Krishna loves us, so there's not there's not a question of Krishna slapping us away or something. It's never like that. Krishna will always help us, and we can always remember that and take shelter of that kind of vision that God is always with us. He's always in our hearts. He's always conscious of our situation, more so than even we are, it's said. Krishna knows us. He knows the depth of our heart. He knows that we really do want Krishna consciousness, but we're just cluttered up by our multiple births in the material world and entanglements of attachment to the material energy. But Krishna knows that. So if we just keep praying and keep turning to him, Krishna more and more will help us. And it may be that it's a process of not only this life, but future lives. We just can't tell because we've been so caught up in the material energy for so long. None of us has any idea of the degree to which we're stuck in material consciousness. And we have no idea about others either. So, when we see someone who's new walking through the door into the temple and, hopefully offering Dandavat, we offer our, deep respect to that personality because we don't really know what his previous background is in spiritual life. It may be that he's just beginning, this is his first step into a temple, or it may be that he's been in temples for multiple lifetimes. We just don't know. So that's like a happy vision that we can have, that everybody is welcome, everybody is working with each other on the path of developing in Krishna consciousness. And that's the perfection of friendship, when we can really look at each other and help each other in our spiritual life, in our spiritual development. And the more that we can get immersed in that kind of friendship, then the more that our necessity for friendship will be directed away from the tendency towards mundane friendship. So we just have to work on it. We have to keep working on it with faith, and Krishna will always be there with us. So, have we read everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Maharaj, what about what is it? Sadhu Swami Ashram?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Where is that?
Is 162.
152?
162.
162. Okay. Oh yeah. We used to play Prabhupada chanting this every day when the deities would open after they're dressed in the morning. We would always play this and then phase into Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
That's nice.
Yeah. It's always just,
How about this, Maharaj? You get the Brahma Samhita, and then we'll sing this, and then you can lead the Brahma Samhita portion.
Okay.
Yeah, because you would do just like the first Brahma Samhita, right? Not the whole.
Right. First, 5 or something?
Such an amazing. There's so many amazing books. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, and each book has got infinite depth. That every time we read it, there's something new that appears. And we can go on like that for our entire lifetime, and still there'll be new things. And then we'll take birth again to read it again, and there'll still be new things. And it just goes on forever. Because Krishna is not limited. It's unlimited. It's unending. We can't even really perceive that or understand what that is. But at the same time, we can know that Krishna exists. He's always there. And he's always there waiting for us to just turn to him. So, that opportunity in life is there by the grace of our gurus and by the grace of the predecessor gurus who have given their lives to giving Krishna consciousness to as many people as they can in this material world. And Srila Prabhupada was like pretty much penultimate, because he, by his sincerity to serve his Gurudev, he was able to give Krishna consciousness, and not only to the 3,000 or so people who were his disciples, but also to tens of, maybe hundreds of thousands of people who would come to his temples and hear about Krishna. Sometimes for the first time, sometimes after many lifetimes. People coming to Prabhupada's temples were given entry by the grace of his service to his Gurudev. So it was, just a wonderful time to be trying in Krishna consciousness, and to know that Srila Prabhupada is always there for us. I can. I have so many, memories of Srila Prabhupada, like walking into the temple room, because Chicago was the temple where I was temple president and developed it. So Prabhupada walking into the temple room, sitting on his Vyasasana, and taking worship from the devotees. And usually we'd have one devotee in the front offering arti, and two devotees on each side, one with the chamara, one with the peacock fan, fanning Srila Prabhupada. And, Srila Prabhupada would just be sitting there just in glorious service mood. And he seemed like a giant, And then he would get off the Vyasasana, and he's like 5'2" or something. And he just doesn't compute. Because he's so gigantic in terms of his spiritual consciousness. And he's got this, small material form. And, Srila Prabhupada was born in 1896, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj was born in 1895. So Prabhupada always considered Srila Sridhar Maharaj his Shiksha Guru, his spiritual master. And there are so many writings to that effect, which I guess I'll read. Should I read them now, or what are we doing?
We can do whatever you like, Maharaj. We can read and then go back to singing, or I don't know.
Okay, yeah, let me read.
Have to stick to
It seems like reading is nice right now.
Yeah. I'm still looking for that verse.
Govinda Mari Purusham Tamam Bhajami. That was the London devotees made it was a single on Apple. George Harrison arranged for it to be released on Apple, and in America it got to number 20, but in England it was number 1 for some time. Yeah. So the mercy of Srila Prabhupada was spread, largely through the agency of George Harrison. Oh crap! What is this? Nah. Okay. Anyway, through the agency of George Harrison, and Srila Prabhupada told us that he is as sincere as any of you, but he has got some special position in terms of his being able to affect large groups of people. So Prabhupada he asked Srila Prabhupada to become his disciple and just live in the temple. But Srila Prabhupada said, no, you should continue in your position and utilize that position for spreading Krishna consciousness, which is what he did the whole rest of his life. He just devoted to serving and increasingly surrendering to Srila Prabhupada. So we had that kind of experience with a well-known personality, George Harrison, giving Krishna consciousness to people. And even today, sometimes someone will come to the temple new, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I was listening to George Harrison, and he told us about Krishna consciousness." Still today, which is quite amazing. So Srila Prabhupada, of course, could see the potency in his position, and his position as a well-known like rock star, but also as a sincere, heartfelt devotee. Prabhupada was in that kind of consciousness. Okay, so let me see here. I think I'll read. This is the introduction to Nectar of Devotion. Yeah, I guess we can go for it. Okay.
You're right. So the Govinda Manipurusam starts at verse 29, and it's the last line, and it goes all the way almost to the end, to 55.
Mm-hmm.
So quite a big chunk of verses end with that.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah. Okay, so, Introduction to Nectar of Devotion by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Introduction. Invoking auspiciousness, Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the reservoir of all rasas, or relationships, which are called neutrality, passive adoration, servitorship, friendship, parenthood, conjugal love, comedy, compassion, fear, chivalry, ghastliness, wonder, and devastation. We don't often hear those relationships coming after conjugal love. But Prabhupada, just tells us clearly that every aspect of relationships that we have in this world is manifest in full, opulence and completion in our relationship with Krishna. He's everything. And every kind of mood, like in the spiritual world, whatever kind of mood or experience or happiness or pleasure we find in the material world will be there in the spiritual world, but in fullness and perfection. Whereas everything here is, we just get glimpses of what reality is. It's that because of our, conditioned nature, we're have been hesitant to enter into the position of servitor for so long that the experience of reality is a bit distant for us. But Krishna will always help us. He is the supreme attractive form, and by his universal and transcendental attractive features, he has captivated all the gopis, headed by Taraka, Palika, Shama, Lalita, and ultimately Srimati Radharani. Let his lordship's grace be on us, so that there may not be any hindrance in the execution of this duty of writing Nectar of Devotion, impelled by his divine grace, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswat Goswami Prabhupada. I'm trying to remember when this came about. Let's see here. No, that's not going to help. It's an introduction to the 2009 edition, but nothing of the original. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it was probably 70, 71. First it was Bhagavad Gita, then the beginnings of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then I think the Nectar of Devotion came, and then after that Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, okay. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada and of Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, by whose inspiration I have been engaged in the matter of compiling this summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is the sublime science of devotional service as propounded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared 500 years ago in West Bengal, India, to propagate the movement of Krishna consciousness. Srila Rupa Goswami begins his great book by offering his respectful obeisances unto Sri Sanatana Goswami, who is his elder brother and spiritual master. And he prays that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu may be very pleasing to him. He further prays that by residing in that ocean of nectar, he may always feel transcendental pleasure in the service of Radha and Krishna. So, we're pleasure-seeking living beings. And while, pleasure-seeking in the material world becomes less and less attractive and interesting, the transcendental service of Radha and Krishna becomes increasingly full of nectar and ultimately will pervade our existence. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the great devotees and acharyas, holy teachers, who are compared with sharks in the great ocean of nectar and who do not care for the various rivers of liberation. Impersonalists are very fond of merging into the Supreme, like rivers that come down and merge into the ocean. The ocean can be compared with liberation, and the rivers with all the different paths of liberation. The impersonalists are dwelling in the river water, which eventually comes to mix with the ocean. They have no information, however, that within the ocean, as within the river, there are innumerable aquatic living entities. The sharks who dwell in the ocean do not care for the rivers which are gliding down into it. The devotees eternally live in the ocean of devotional service, and they do not care for the rivers. In other words, those who are pure devotees always remain in the ocean of transcendental loving service to the Lord and have no business with other processes which are compared to rivers that only gradually come to the ocean. Srila Rupa Goswami prays to his spiritual master, Srila Sanatana Goswami, for the protection of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of the pure nectar of devotional service. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So, Sindhu, ocean, Rasamrita, the nectar of devotional exchange based on bhakti or service. He compares their arguments and logic to volcanic eruptions in the midst of the ocean. In the midst of the ocean, such volcanic eruptions can do very little harm, and similarly, those who are against devotional service to the Lord and who put forward many philosophical theses about the ultimate transcendental realization cannot disturb this great ocean of devotional service. First thing, present many theses. Immediately I thought feces. So they're presenting many feces. The author of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami, very humbly submits that he is just trying to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, although he humbly thinks himself unfit for this work. That should be the attitude of all preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement, following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami. We should never think ourselves as great preachers, but should always consider that we are simply instrumental to the previous acharyas, and simply by following in their footsteps, we may be able to do something for the benefit of suffering humanity. So, this is the point that we really have no capacity to do very much, but taking the shelter of those acharyas who has come before us, some capacity for doing things will and does come through us. So remembering the mercy of the acharyas is the way in which we can actually give transcendental benefit to others. Well, we should always remember we have no real capacity for doing this, but our predecessor gurus are like impelling us. They're pushing us forward to do some service. And, rather than like fight the push, we can like feel the push as great impetus and great enthusiasm for developing Krishna consciousness. We are being pushed, and they'll always help us. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is divided into 4 parts, just as the ocean is sometimes divided into 4 parts, and there are different sections within each of the 4 divisions. Originally, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean is divided like the watery ocean into the east, west, north, and south, while the subsections within these different divisions are called waves. As in the ocean, there are always different waves, either on the eastern side, the western side, the northern side, or the southern side. So similarly, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu has different waves. In the first part, there are 4 waves, the first being a general description of devotional service. The second concerns the regulative principles for executing devotional service. And the third wave, devotional service in ecstasy. In the fourth, the ultimate goal, love of God. These will be explicitly described along with their different symptoms. The authorized description of bhakti, or devotional service, following in the footsteps of previous acharyas, can be summarized in the following statement by Srila Rupa Goswami. First-class devotional service is known by one's tendency to be fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. Yeah.
So there's 4 waves total, like overall, or in each section of the ocean?
They're all different waves. The ocean is there, and then there are, there are 4 waves within that ocean. First, a general description of devotional service. The second, the regular principles for executing devotional service. The third, devotional service in ecstasy. And the fourth is the ultimate goal, love of God. The authorized description of bhakti, or devotional service, following in the footsteps of previous acharyas, can be summarized in the following statement by Srila Rupa Goswami. First-class devotional service is known by one's tendency to be fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, serving the Lord favorably. The purport is that one may also be in Krishna consciousness unfavorably, but that cannot be counted as pure devotional service. Pure devotional service should be free from the desire for any material benefit or for sense gratification, as these desires are cultivated through fruitive activities and philosophical speculation. Generally, people are engaged in different activities to get some material profit, while most philosophers are engaged in proposing transcendental realization through volumes of word jugglery and speculation. Pure devotional service must always be free from such fruitive activities and philosophical speculation. One has to learn Krishna consciousness or pure devotional service from the authorities by spontaneous loving service. So we hear about Krishna consciousness from the great souls, and then we try to apply what we've heard from these great souls to our lives, trying to render service. And in that attempt to render service, we are able to make connection with the line of our gurus. So all it takes is sincere trying. Devotional service is sort of a cultivation. It is not simply inaction for people who like to be inactive or devote their time to silent meditation. There are many different methods for people who want this, but cultivation of Krishna consciousness is different. The particular word used by Srila Rupa Goswami in this connection is anushilana, or cultivation by following the predecessor teachers, acharyas. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Without activity, consciousness alone cannot help us. All activities may be divided into two classes. One class may be for achieving a certain goal. The other may be for avoiding some unfavorable circumstance. In Sanskrit, these activities are called pravritti and nivritti, positive and negative actions. There are many examples of negative action. For instance, a diseased person has to be cautious and take medicine in order to avoid some unfavorable illnesses. Those who are cultivating spiritual life and executing devotional service are always engaged in activity. Such activity can be performed with the body and the mind. Thinking, feeling, and willing are all activities of the mind. And when we will to do something, the activity comes to be manifest by the gross bodily senses. Thus, in our mental activities, we should always try to think of Krishna and plan how to please Him. Following in the footsteps of the great Acharyas and the personal spiritual master, there are activities of the body, activities of the different senses, and the activities of speech. As Krishna Consciousness person engages his words in preaching the glories of the Lord, this is called Kirtan. And by his mind, a Krishna conscious person always thinks of the activities of the Lord as he is speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra or engaging in his various pastimes in Vrindavan with his devotees. In this way, one can always think of the activities and pastimes of the Lord. This is the mental culture of Krishna consciousness. Jai. Okay. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Did I talk about Srila Prabhupada coming to the West at all? Did I say anything about that? No. Okay. So, hey guys, Dandavat, Dandavat, Dandavat. Dandavat, Daddy. Okay. What were you about to do?
You were potentially going to recount memories of...
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. So, I wish Sri Lanka could be here because she remembers pastimes really well. And, she remembers all of the engagements I had plus all the engagements she had. But I'll try my best to remember. When I first came to Krishna Consciousness, the devotees immediately told me, "Oh, we have this teacher, and you can ask him anything, and he'll give you the answer. Anything you want, anything you need to know, just ask him." Yeah, just ask him. And I was thinking, wow, what kind of person is this? And yeah. So the first letter I wrote to Srila Prabhupada was a letter asking for initiation, and I wrote in the request for initiation. I wrote a little bit about the things contained in Nectar of Devotion about the qualifications of a disciple, and basically saying that I'm starting on this. I don't really have that much to offer, but I'm trying. And Srila Prabhupada wrote back that that's what we need to do, is try in Krishna consciousness and depend on Krishna for helping us along the way. Always think in that way, that Krishna is the actor and I am the servant. So if I can serve Krishna, the actions that are necessary for progress in devotional service, they'll become manifest automatically. We just have to serve Krishna and surrender to Krishna. Trying to remove the circumstance. Oh. I think I asked Srila Prabhupada if I can marry Sri Lanka, and Srila Prabhupada replied that he no longer involves himself with with marriages, because he had done it in the beginning, arranging marriages, and more than half of them didn't work out. So he just said, talk with your temple president and work it out in that way. So we did, and like I've told you guys before, that Sri was in Toronto, I was in Detroit, and we didn't really know each other at all. Which, like in retrospection, was a good thing, because right off, the basis for our marriage was that this is arranged by our guru for the service of our guru. It's not because I like you, I don't like you, I'm attracted to you, I'm not attracted to you. That was not a factor. We just, entered into it, and trying at least in that kind of mood. And Krishna was undoubtedly pleased in that way. And as a result, the product of our devotional service, the main product, was Sudarshan, and then Kishori, who I named after the deity in Chicago. Kishori is their name. And I remember I wrote to Srila Prabhupada and asked him, well, everywhere else it's Radha Krishna, Radha's name first, but in this one it's Kishori. Radharani's name second. And Prabhupada, I said, why is that? Prabhupada wrote back that Radha and Krishna are one in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That was his answer. So I was like, okay, one in Sri Chaitanya, okay, one in Mahaprabhu. Anyway, I couldn't understand it, but, I'm repeating it. No.
Still, you don't, still not clear on it? It is mystical, I don't know.
Well, he was pointing me in the proper direction, away from notions of Radha and Krishna, towards notions of service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I think it was that we're focusing ourselves on service to Mahaprabhu and our line of gurus, and service to Krishna will only come through them. So we don't so much meditate on, I'm serving Krishna, I'm serving Srimati Radharani, but we meditate on, I'm serving my gurus, and through service to my gurus, they will serve Radha and Krishna. That's the better position, better mood. Of course, in our day-to-day lives, we can pray in that way. But the point is that our prayers will be more successful if they're focused on our gurus, those who have actual connection with above. And through them, we can connect with above. We can't really do it ourselves. So that was like the message that was there in Srila Prabhupada's blessing to us. What else? Trying to think.
Book distribution.
Yeah, book distribution. That was like a big deal. Yeah. So, we kept hearing Srila Prabhupada wants, first of all, his books to be distributed. That's the main thing. We can have deity worship and beautiful temple rooms, but the main thing is, distributing his books. So we tried to take that on our head, and in the course of, trying to set up book distribution, we successively got arrested downtown Chicago. It was like, I forget, but we were advised by Karandar Prabhu, who was GBC at that time, to, just keep getting arrested. And, then we consulted with the American Civil Liberties Union, and they told us, you got to get arrested 7 or 8 times. So we did that, and then they took the city of Chicago to court, and the federal judge who was in charge of that was very favorable to religious freedom. So he told them, this is our religion. We give it to others. That's it. That's what we do. So he said, okay, you can distribute anywhere in Chicago.
What was the claim from the plaintiff? They were saying you're disturbing the peace or something?
Yeah, they used to arrest us for like harassing passersby and stuff like that. Which, we would just stand there with a book and say, Hare Krishna, would you like a book? And if they stopped, we talked to them. And if they didn't stop, we just went on to somebody else. So it wasn't really that aggressive.
Do you ever wear wigs?
Huh?
Wigs or hats and stuff like that?
Yeah. I was always against it. That I thought the devotees should just be devotees and distributing books. But it came from L.A. The big book distributor at that time was Srila Maharaj. And it was his idea that we should wear like karmi clothes and wigs and stuff like that. That would more open people up to listening to us. And I just thought, well, maybe open us up so more people could take to it. But at the same time, we don't want to compromise Krishna consciousness so much. So I was like in opposition in that way. But in the movement, Srila Maharaj kind of won out. So all the devotees who were book distributors in Chicago, they all started wearing karmi clothes and wigs to the airport. And the airport police were like completely freaked out because before that they wouldn't allow anybody to be there and walk up to people just coming out of the terminals to so we were coming up to everybody giving them books and stuff like that. So they started to harass us while we were trying to give books. They would come up and say, this is not good, you don't want these books, and they were hassling us. So what I did was I went upstairs to this second floor area where there's all glass, and I was, taking like films of them harassing us because I was going to show it to the, to the judge. And but while I was doing that, I was like so kind of, I guess I was just confident. I was kind of reckless. So I was filming, and suddenly they came up and grabbed me. And their office was in the basement of the airport. So I was taken down the elevator into this like dark basement, and I was thinking, oh my God, what are they going to do to me? And they brought me into this room and sat me down and made me sit there and wait for like a half hour or something like that. And then they just took my camera and exposed everything, and eventually gave the camera back and said, just don't do this anymore.
Exposed means ruined the film.
Yeah. It was like that. The film would be in the camera, and before you developed it, you would kind of roll up the film into the little container and then, turn it in, and then it would be exposed in the dark room and developed in that way. So, anyway, yeah, they exposed the film and in that way tried to stop us. And but we just continued, and we got some support from the judge, and they had to back off. And then finally, I remember I was temple president. I was very careful, like, we don't want to blow this out, so we should only have a certain small number of devotees there, so that they won't become overwhelmed and really attack us. So I think I kept it down to 8 devotees a day or something. And then unfortunately, I was sent to New York by Srila Prabhupada, and the person who took over, put immediately under the influence of Srila Maharaj, we have this airport, we have to exploit it as much as we can while we can. So they put 16, 20 devotees in the airport, and within a month they were kicked out.
Under some different...
Yeah, they just pushed it too far. right? They were like willing to kind of back off if we weren't so.
It created a lot of smoke, so to speak, on the movement. I think.
Yeah.
Just pushing it too hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because when we opened up the Chicago airport, then I just sent around the filing by the American Civil Liberties Union to all the different temples, and all the different temples opened up airports all over the country, and so things just grow and developed in that way until they came up with this idea that we could distribute, but it had to be like contained. So they made us sit at a table after a while, and I had already left after that happened. But while we were there distributing books, we were like rivaling Los Angeles. It was like 4 or 5 times bigger than our temple. And I used to call up the temple president in Los Angeles, Rameshwar, and just, every day like rub it in with the number of books we distributed. How many books did you distribute today? 180. We distributed 220. So I didn't like that, rubbing it in with Rameshwar. Of course, that didn't help very much in the way he looked at us. So anyway, yeah. But Prabhupada was very happy that there were so many books being distributed, and he said, if you become number one in book distribution, I will come and stay at your temple for 6 months. So we had that like motivation. Whoa, okay, we got to do this. But then L.A. was motivated because Prabhupada was always coming there and staying for 6 months. So we had a rivalry going back and forth, and it wasn't ever clearly established, who was like superior. But Prabhupada did come to Chicago 2 times and stayed for the first time like 3 weeks, I think, and then the second time was only for a week or 2. And but we got when Prabhupada first came to Chicago, we had this. There was this room in the Brahmacharya ashram that was a small sleeping room. So we set that up for Srila Prabhupada. And the next room, bigger room next to it, was his sitting room where he would sit and talk to devotees. And so he would sit behind a table. And in that same room, Govardhan Prabhu from Detroit had come and brought he was like a master decorator and stuff. So he brought this amazingly opulent Vyasasan to Chicago from Detroit. And then, we set it up in Prabhupada's room, and Prabhupada would always like sit, at the table and not go on the Vyasasan. But then one time Srileka and I came in to talk to him, and he gets up and walks up the stairs and sits on the Vyasasan. So we were like, oh, this is such mercy. We get to sit before Srila Prabhupada. And then the question was, can I get a second wife? Srila Prabhupada, why you want that? And I said, if I marry this girl, she'll stay in Chicago and distribute books. And Prabhupada said, that is not a good reason. So I was like, okay. So anyway, yeah, that didn't work out very well. And but I was always thinking, because Prabhupada had given some direction that it's good if because there were more women than men, so it's good if the men could take multiple wives. So I kept thinking about that, and there was this one girl who had come on to me for a bit. And so that became like focused in my brain for a while. And eventually she had moved to Dallas. And so somehow or other we got sent to Dallas and, tried to bring that into being. But it was always blocked. It never somehow or other worked. There's no real conscious obstacles, but things just didn't work out. And after a while, I just realized this is not what's supposed to happen. Oh yeah, I remember also I would talk to her about Sri Lanka, and one day Sri Lanka got up and like punched the wall, and her fist went through the wall covering. So there's this big hole in the wall. And I thought, okay, I guess this is too much. No, she didn't like it at all. Yeah, so it worked out like that. Yeah. So, where are we going with this?
Well, we started to read. We were going to read for a little while, maybe potentially Kirtan again.
Okay.
I
just marked this here, and then we can have some Kirtan in glorification of Srila Prabhupada. We always sang the Samsara song, huh? What do we got? Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya. You do that one? Okay, cool. Jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Ki Jai. Okay.
Jai.
Yeah. So yeah, and it finally came that Srila Prabhupada had departed, and he told us that we could get help from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And so at first, all the GBC was going and sitting with Srila Sridhar Maharaj and talking with him and taking instruction and so many things. And then after a couple of years, I don't know exactly what happened, but they came to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and he gave some instruction that they didn't like, and they claimed this is not what Prabhupada wanted. So they withdrew from Srila Sridhar Maharaj and gave an order that no one could go to see Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And, there were a few of us who were going regularly, and we just said to them, if somebody gave you an order not to see Srila Prabhupada, would you listen to that order? And, so we had taken Srila Sridhar Maharaj as our guru, given to us by Srila Prabhupada. So it was just no question that we would listen to that. And because of that, the handful of us who were there, we all got kicked out of ISKCON.
Yeah. Who started saying not to go to
Probably it was led by Tamal Krishna, yeah, who was very powerful devotee, and Prabhupada told us that he was the best devotee of all the devotees. So we really naturally respected him.
He said that?
Huh?
What? He said that?
Yeah.
I never heard that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether it was told to me individually or it was generally known. I don't remember, but I was definitely heard that. So I took it in that way. That.
I saw him as different. I always saw him as different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ambitious, extremely ambitious.
Yeah. Right. Well, of course that was true, but he was a powerful leader, and I think Srila Prabhupada liked that he could inspire people to follow, something like that.
Was there he said that sannyasis just needed a danda and a lota or something like that, so simple, and then a lot of gurus and GBC didn't like that. Was that kind of true? I always heard that.
Yeah. Oh, right. I think that's right. I can't remember clearly, but yeah, something. The idea that the idea of multiple gurus is not very good, because everything will become scattered and there won't be a single focus, which obviously Srila Sridhar Maharaj could have provided, but in the name of preserving Prabhupada's ISKCON, they decided to move away from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Thinking in a really mundane way that if we take shelter of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, it's going to somehow override the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. But, in spiritual world, it doesn't work like that. If you take shelter of a great soul, who is connected with our great soul guru, it can only enhance our devotion to Srila Prabhupada. So we all took it like that. If Srila Sridhar Maharaj can give us increased devotion to Srila Prabhupada and increased development in Krishna consciousness, this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted for us. So why wouldn't we go in that direction? So it was kind of like a break that unfortunately happened. And, I think it was like Prabhu said, it's largely because they wanted to preserve their position, and they utilized Srila Prabhupada's position as the guru and them as his GBC to substantiate that in overriding Srila Sridhar Maharaj, which is really sad and really shocking, and because we were all we'd given our lives to the service of Srila Prabhupada through ISKCON, and all of a sudden we weren't allowed there. So it was really shattering. But at the same time, we would get to sit before Srila Sridhar Maharaj and listen to him speaking and feel the energy so similar to the energy of Srila Prabhupada when we would sit listening to him. So it was just overrode everything. It was just, we were just really fortunate.
You remember Viraha Prakash? Avadhut Maharaj, Viraha Prakash from Minnesota. You remember him?
I vaguely remember. I don't know if it was the time of Srila Prabhupada or not. Maybe shortly after. I don't remember, but I remember there was these in Vrindavan. There were these Russian devotees all staying at some place that was separate, and Avadhut Maharaj was in charge, of course. So I just went there and met them all and offered my obeisances and stuff like that. And I, met them at the first time. I can't even remember what year it was, but I'm pretty sure it was after Prabhupada's departure. Maybe in the early 80s, probably, yeah.
Pramana, do you remember Pramana?
Pramana, yeah.
They were the two leaders in that time, all the disciples in Venezuela were.
Yeah.
And then when Srila Prabhupada left, they stayed with Umar, so there was nobody actually that was there to tell them you can't, so because they were
oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, remembering Caracas is in the right track. Yeah.
But they sent someone, I can't remember, from
Brazil or something.
No, from here, from America, from GBZ, from
ISKCON,
to talk to them you gotta.
I wonder if it was Janardhan Maharaj.
I don't think it was Janardhan. Janardhan was later on,
Okay.
It was some heavy GBC, and then Avadhut Maharaj was known because he was a martial artist, and he guns. So they came to his office, and then he just put the gun in the desk, and was well, I don't know, but this temple is you guys are not gonna take over. I guess
yeah, that's a classic Avadhut Maharaj. Yeah.
So then it's kind of
start doing their own thing, and that's why it's never been. Usually, other countries, ISKCON's always bigger than Math, but in Venezuela, it's always Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, same as Russia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, where are we going? Kirtan again? Yeah. What page is that? 52. Cool. Jai Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Doeda Se Trinapeksha Tidina
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Doeda Se Trinapeksha Tidina
Sakala Sahane Bolo Diya Kara
Sakala Sahane Bolo Diya Kara Jamane Priharina Sakale Shamane Korite Shakati Devonata Yata Yata Tobe Togai Mo Harinama Suke Tobe Togai Mo Harinama Suke Tobe Togai Mo Harinama Suke Aparara Hobe Hoto Hobe Hena Krita Nopia Ejan Kritaka Heno Kripa Lovya Eda Garta Vivenata Shakti Bodhi Namiyati Shakti Bodhi Namiyati Shakti Bodhi Namiyati Karamore Atmasata Shakti Bodhi Namiyati Paramore Atmasata Yogata Vichare Kichu Nahi Pai Tumara Karuna Yogata Vichare Kichu Nahi Pai Tumara Karuna Sara Karuna Nahile Kandiya Kandiya Karuna Hoile Kandiya Kandiya Banana Raki Bohara Jaya Guru Deva 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 Jaya Guru Maharaj Jaya Guru Maharaj Guru Maharaj Jaya 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 Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Tirubhava Mahamahotsava Ki
Jai.
So remember, Srila Prabhupada was sick and he had gone to Vrindavan, and we were all like had 24-hour kirtan going on in Los Angeles, and I would do sometimes like 12 to 3, sometimes 3 to 6, to keep the the kirtan going in prayer for Srila Prabhupada's continued presence with us in this world. And but then we heard like early morning that Prabhupada had departed, and I can just remember like everybody was just stunned. We were just like wandering around with our arms up, praying, and everybody. It was really like powerful. The shock of the departure of this great soul who we had like given everything to, and suddenly, he was gone, and it was just such a gut-wrenching like feeling. And then I remember, I think it was Goswami Maharaj who came out and told us that Srila Prabhupada had told us that we can get shelter from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And so we all took that seriously. And I remember every day going and sitting with Goswami Maharaj and Rameshwar, who was the GBC there. And Goswami Maharaj was the temple president or something. And we would sit with him every day, and Goswami Maharaj would tell us about Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And but then suddenly one day, Rameshwar Maharaj says, we just have to stop this. This is, it's overriding Srila Prabhupada or something like that. And Goswami Maharaj got into a big fight with Rameshwar, and at this point, Goswami Maharaj left and went, north to San Jose and got a house with the help of some devotees there, and started the first Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math in the in the Western world. So it was largely due to Goswami Maharaj that we made any connection with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and through him we made prayer to Srila Prabhupada to help us and growing in Krishna consciousness and coming into the shelter of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I think it took me another year or so, and eventually I was able to go to India to see Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and I remember coming into the temple. I guess I just gotten a train from Calcutta to Navadvip, and taking a rickshaw to the temple, and coming into the temple, just like feeling just tremendous potency there in Srila Sridhar Maharaj's presence. Of course, the temple itself kind of becomes non-different from the great soul who's overseeing the temple. So I remember going up the stairs and bowing down to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and then sitting back up, and like I told you guys already, the first thing that hit me was, this is just like when I was with Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, you're so kind. You've sent us this, amazing personality. And so, of course, Prabhupada said, Srila Sridhar Maharaj is my Shiksha Guru for what can be spoken about the benefit he will bring to you. So, in that, just that single statement was such a open-hearted, relief to all of us. And so naturally we began to feel that relief. And so we go back to ISKCON, which in many places, I think at first we were all staying there, and we just tell people about this amazing, personality that Prabhupada has sent to us. And like I said, eventually we got kicked out of ISKCON Mayapur, and we all came over and stayed with Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And at that time, Srila Govinda Maharaj was there, but he was so surrendered servant, you hardly even noticed him. He would just, bring out Srila Sridhar Maharaj, sit down. He would sit down next to him, sometimes introduce him, and sometimes just sit quietly or stand nearby Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And just always be totally in the background, never like coming forward. And I remember at a certain stage, Srila Sridhar Maharaj felt like he was going to depart. So he told Srila Govinda Maharaj that you have to like sit in my chair and like take the reins of the mission. And at first, Srila Govinda Maharaj was so like hesitant and so like just overwhelmed with the idea of him having to sit in the chair of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj just, repeatedly insisted. I had this like vision in my mind of Srila Sridhar Maharaj seated in the chair just to the left of the asana where Srila Govinda Maharaj had to sit down, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj just more or less forcing Srila Govinda Maharaj to sit on that asana, and in that way, like take the reins of really the whole Krishna Consciousness movement at that time, as far as we could see, and enter into the position of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya. And it was such a beautiful thing to simultaneously see him in his humble position next to his Gurudev, and also to see him taking the position of the Acharya as he's seated on that Vyasasan. So he was able to do both things simultaneously, which is like it was really so like magical. We just knew that, oh wow, even though Srila Sridhar Maharaj may depart, Prabhupada has departed, but now we have Srila Govinda Maharaj. And that was so amazing that, we had Srila Govinda Maharaj from the time of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's departure. I think it was like 88, something like that. I think so. Srila Sridhar Maharaj departed. 89, 89, yeah. So at that point, we had Srila Govinda Maharaj from like 88 or 89 until 2010 when he departed. And so it was a long time. We had connection with Srila Govinda Maharaj more so than we ever had with Srila Sridhar Maharaj or even Srila Prabhupada. Govinda Maharaj was like the personality who gave us vision, elucidation of Srila Prabhupada's greatness. Really, because until then we have our own kind of conception. He's my guru. I give everything to him. I read about gurus in the scriptures, and I try to do in that direction. But Srila Govinda Maharaj had lived with him for 8 or 9 years. And he had so many stories about Srila Prabhupada giving him direction, like to go out and preach Krishna Consciousness. I'm trying to remember the story. I can't. Maybe you remember. He was ordered to go out to preach Krishna Consciousness, and when he was out preaching, something was a problem with preaching to ladies. Do you remember that at all? Ladies? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Govinda Maharaj just came back, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj just impregnated in him the position of guru. That it doesn't matter what form of the temporary body that your disciples are presenting before you or other people are presenting. The real thing is like seeing the soul. And it just seemed like from that time, special potency was there in Srila Govinda Maharaj, like directly imparted by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj. And, we had that relief for some time, for a long time. And then departed in 2010, and then he he had appointed Srila Acharya Maharaj as his successor, and Srila Acharya Maharaj came forward. I remember going to India and, being with Srila Acharya Maharaj, and he even would, let us take Prashadam with him and everything. He was just a really wonderful, open, loving person. And then, within a year or two, Srila Acharya Maharaj also departed. And then we really felt kind of, what can we do? And he had appointed one of his younger disciples as the successor Acharya. Well, who was it? Begin with an N. Nimi or something? Oh, yeah, Nrihari Maharaj, right? Okay. Yeah, he'd appointed him. But we just didn't really know him. And it was just, undoubtedly due to our lack of spiritual development, we just couldn't see in him what we had seen in Srila Govinda Maharaj. So it was like a shocking departure, but it also inspired us to try to go deeper in our relation with Srila Govinda Maharaj, and through that, our relation with Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada himself. So it just everything, when you come in contact with a real Vaishnava, everything about your connection becomes enhanced. You meet someone like the quality of Srila Govinda Maharaj, and like I said, you come to know more and more about the position of Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. It just grows in your heart in a amazing, wonderful way, and to some extent that same mercy is available, and it's coming through those devotees who had contact with him, and but particularly directly from Govinda Maharaj himself, and how that manifests is dependent on his vision and his mercy in relation to each one of us. He manifests himself and will show the mercy as it is descending in inconceivable, amazing ways. So, it's like Krishna Consciousness is always amazing, always inconceivable, always wonderful. But we just, don't quite have the capacity to perceive that. But Krishna is so kind that every now and then we can see it wow, amazing. I've never felt anything like that before. That is the glimpse of Krishna consciousness that we're given. And that's the position, that, temporary position of wonder and awe, that's the position of pure devotion. And that's a position that can be our lives, not only in this life, but in future lives and beyond that, wherever Krishna wants to send us. So even, Srila Sridhar Maharaj used to say that if Mahaprabhu wants it, I'll go to hell to give Krishna consciousness. And we thinking about that, we realize that for a pure devotee, his external circumstance doesn't matter, because his life is there in his internal relationship with his guru and the entire line of gurus and great souls. That's his life. That's where he is. So, the external circumstance that we all find ourselves in may appear to be limiting, but it's only limiting in terms of our own conditioned, response, our own conditioned nature. But the reality is there in, when we get these glimpses and this feeling, when, somehow or other, sometime we look at Mahaprabhu and we see his lotus feet, and it's just it's from a different world. That deity, Mahaprabhu, like Srila Sridhar Maharaj would tell us, and I think also Srila Prabhupada, that I think it was Chicago where Prabhupada told us that he saw that Kishori were dancing on the altar. And I was let me try to see that. But, you could like envision it, kind of feel a little bit, but that's kind of the what the vision is. It's like fully internal. And I think when the internal is full, then it may like overwhelm the external, something like that. Rifarki? Okay. Any questions? I was going to ask you to say something, Deity, but I forgot. You want any comment? Jai Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Prabhupada. Sri Chaitanya Dave. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Disappearance Day celebration, all the assembled devotees, Kartika Vrat, Go Pranande, Mahaprabhu. Krishna Maharani ki jai. Sundari Sundari Priyai Visavasya Krishna Bhakti Pranidevi Satyavadaya Namo Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhya Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Pachitana Pabhinibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Adi Guru Prabhupada ki jai. That's a good one, huh?
Dandavat to all the online devotees.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. Dandavat. Someone called Anandamoy Prabhu. Anandamoy, someone called Judy Vinson, and then there's a concurrent. Yeah, then the rest I don't have any idea. But Dandava, thank you for being here. Haribo.